since Tuesday. First of that being that Cloud9 Vortex has, I guess the phrase would be, disqualified themselves out of the league due to some roster changes.
Effectively, yeah. Essentially, the way the ESL Major League works is you have a 5-man roster, and then you can have a maximum of 2 subs, and that's it. Like that, you have a 7-man limit in that season.
Right, that you can swap in and out. You could make those subs permanent roster changes, but then you wouldn't be able to make any more than those 2 changes for the rest of the season. So since Vortex has gone through quite a few roster changes, more than the allotted amount, those being the 2, for their subs, they have disqualified themselves. So now ESL has been put into the position to fill that spot in the league. Of course, we do need 8 teams in this league. So we go back and we look at that qualifier mini tournament that happened just before
the first
this league kicked off, basically, which I think was both ESV teams, Tempest and Wildfire, Heroes Hype, and Vivid Gaming.
Those were because they were the runners up in points.
In points for the qualifiers. So we looked at to fill. I forget what team left now. Oh, it doesn't matter. Basically,
Glorious.
Yes,
Glorious
that's right. Glorious
disbanded because Glorious was absorbed
by so long ago.
But it's funny because Vortex absorbed Glorious.
Yeah.
And then 2 members of Vortex moved to Maelstrom to make the new Maelstrom roster. This all happened right before ESL Major League began, and now, so essentially, Cloud9 forced that disband of Glorious, changing all of that, and now Vortex again made a bunch of changes during the season, disqualifying them. And here comes Vivid Gaming as they were the runners-up to Heroes Hype. Heroes Hype won that event. Vivid Gaming got 2nd place, so they are the runners-up, and they are now entering the league, which means they have some catch-up to do.
They do. They have 2 series to catch up, this being the 2nd day of the 3rd week in this league so far. So they we don't know exactly when those matches are going to be caught up and what the time frame is. I'm not sure what's been announced yet, etc. We're going to very much try as hard as we can to get those matches casted for you guys. Of course, the teams are quite busy with all the new tournaments popping up, etc. So to be determined when those matches are going to happen. We're going to do our best to get those to you guys and cast it and all that good stuff.
Yep, and that'll be, well, again, we'll make the announcements when that happens, when those bonus games, because that's 2 bonus matches that will be happening at some point of their makeup, because they are not just going to inherit the placings that Vortex has seen thus far. They're coming in fresh, and they're going to be caught up. Game number 1, going to be on Sky Temple.
Yeah, but who's playing, Jake?
Oh, my goodness. Who is playing, indeed? Vivid Gaming versus
C9 Maelstrom.
Wow.
And then, of course, at 10 p.m., we have Barrel Boys versus Heroes Hype.
It's going to be good.
It's going to be a good one.
Heroes Hype is looking...
Yeah, they've been really stepping their game up lately, so I'm excited to see them go up against a strong contender, that being Barrel Boys, of course. So, like you said, we are going to Sky Temple. I'll let the teams know that they are good to draft.
And we're going to have this going in just a moment. So they're saying, yeah, ready to roll. We are saying, yes, good to go. And the draft will be beginning in just a moment. Looks like Maelstrom's ready, just waiting on Vivid Gaming.
So let's talk about some of the wackiness that happened on Tuesday. We have some shifts in the meta. I think that's probably a good way to put it. Now, you guys already were well aware of Azmodan's presence in the meta moving forward. But now we're also seeing Illidan make quite a big jump forward in terms of popularity. Sonya has been played and was played this past Tuesday. Was there anything else?
And speaking of Illidan, we're seeing him banned.
Yeah,
and I watched EU today, a lot of Illidan bans and Azmodan bans. Those are 2 heroes you just mentioned. They've really risen up. I mean, there's a few new tier lists put out. Arthlon put one out. iDream put one out. But this patch changed a lot. Illidan now has some new changes to him that make him a little bit better, like shadow changes, if you will.
Is that a pun?
It was.
Okay. I'm used to it with Kev, of course. I take some adjustment to, just. All right. Okay, I'm ready for it. If you're gonna do the pun thing, all right, I'm ready. I'm ready for it.
All right. Nobody's prepared.
All right. So the other interesting thing that we saw.
That was another pun.
What did you? Oh, God. I'm just glossing over him now. Just glossing over him. The other interesting thing that we saw this past Tuesday, of course, was the double support ban. That being more often, I think just about every time, it was Rhaegar Uther.
Rhaegar Uther
was banned respectively from each team.
Yep.
Now, if the first team banning decides to not ban one of those 2 supports, they leave themselves in a position to pick up one of the nice supports. Therefore, it makes sense as to why Maelstrom has banned out Malf instead of one of those 2 top-tier supports. They're saying, okay, We're not going to ban out. If we ban out one of the really good supports, that means we can't get one. So we'll just.
This is actually really smart. Like you're saying, they ban him out, but this denies the double support and still allows them to get one support.
Yes,
so they're
exactly.
forcing their hand. They're saying, look, all right, you have to take Rhaegar, and we're going to take Uther.
Yeah. If it's at all fair to just throw a really quick support tier list at you guys right now, top would be Uther, Rhaegar.
Yep.
Mid, quote unquote, would be Mouth, and then I guess bottom would be Lily Brightwing right now. Maybe Lily's a bit below Brightwing.
Yeah, I would
in that
say
sense,
so. It's just the thing about Lily is she scales really well late game, and
right. You know, that's those are all, and there's so many variables in terms of
true.
what the rest of the team comp is. None of that is like very hard statement to make, right? But point being, they're throwing out that mid tier, quote unquote, support in the sense, right? You're talking about getting rid of that double support. If they really want to go double support, they have to take one of those lower supports, that being Brightwing or Lily. So I like this play. So let's see, what did they pick up? Vivid Gaming, of course, we talked about the bans here, Illidan and Malfurion. Immediately picked up Rhaegar, and as we were saying, scooping up those really good supports right away. And then moving over to Maelstrom's side of things, they grabbed Uther and then Tassadar.
everything has been changing so quickly with this meta in general.
It's cool though.
It's great.
I'm so happy.
I'm not complaining. It's phenomenal.
Fast shifting meta is really fun to just to talk about, to see how it gets played out. Watching it change, you know, from day to day in ESL, like 2 days apart. You know, things are already changing. Illidan ban. That's not something that we saw at all on Tuesday. So it's always a blast to see these types of things happen.
Yeah, some things that haven't changed. Uther, Tassadar, Nazeebo still have incredibly high pick rates. I think Nazeebo still has a 100% pick ban rate. That Ravenous is such a big potential. But ETC, one of those heroes that has really risen in popularity, overtaking the popularity of Stitches when it comes to that #1 tank.
That's true. There were some small changes to Stitches in this last patch, that being a hook cooldown increase by 2 seconds and then having the damage of Gorge. Still a very solid tank to pick up. And I imagine, unless Maelstrom is going for a solo Sonya build, I don't know how well that's going to work. We've seen it in the past a little bit. Some Sonya play last Tuesday. It's also possible that they may run Stitches with this as well, although I don't know the synergy between the two.
I'm really intrigued because, like you said, we were seeing Sonya Illidan. Okay, so they're not showing their hand yet. It could still be the solo Sonya with the shielding of Tassadar and the heals of Uther. It can work for sure.
I like them saving that pick until the end.
No,
you're in a situation where Vivid Gaming has already grabbed ETC. It's very unlikely that they're also going to grab Stitches. It could happen, but very unlikely. In that sense, you may as well save your warrior pick until your last pick, since you know it's more or less guaranteed if you want to go for Stitches or whatever you guys or they end up picking. So
it's true. But
so we're waiting on Vivid Gaming's last 2 picks here. What would you like to see, Jake?
I'm looking at this, and we're playing on Sky Temple. Hammer is a hugely powerful option. I'd be shocked if we don't see Hammer played here. The graduating range is actually a talent that works out really well on this instead of the Hover Siege. You can go for Hover Siege, but since you have these guaranteed fights over these temples, you get in a good spot. You have ETC in the front, bullying, like he does so well, and you just set that Hammer up with the ridiculous range, and you zone people out.
Good points to make, and I think that if they are confident in their Hammer play, that's absolutely a route that they could go. Other option being, of course, we haven't seen Asmodee yet. I don't know from Vivid Gaming side of things if they're versed in the Asmodee style of play. It's something you absolutely have to practice in scrims quite a bit before you can get that efficiency down to really carry that late game.
And well, it's Sky Temple, so Asmodee.
That's true.
It's a lot less Temple, a lot less popular on Sky Temple and Haunted Mines. So we're looking at likely Zagara, Hammer, Tychus as being a likely DPS. There's the double tank coming out.
So the potential here is there's 2 ways to look at this. One, they really think that Maelstrom is going to go for Muradin and they're trying to snipe it. The other being they really want to make sure that they have a lot of CC control for Nazeebo.
I think Hammer makes even more sense now. You have these 2 incredibly hard-hitting ranged assassins with a huge front line.
It's true, and it's going to be quite difficult to get through them. You have the ancestral healing to make sure that it's even more difficult to kill them. I think that's a pretty good call to make. I think Hammer would be the most sensible pickup. But we'll see.
Yeah, they're down to their last 14 seconds of their bonus pool here, so they're going to be deciding very soon. And there is the Hammer. Okay, all right, this is cool. This is a very strong draft out of Vivid Gaming. I like it a lot.
What do you want to see from Maelstrom here? What tanks are left? I mean, okay, Stitches could work in the sense that, yes, you can grab those targets in the back, but how confident are you in being able to pierce through ETC and Muradin? If the ETC Muradin play is on point, they're going to be in the way, and it's going to be really difficult to get those picks. Or do you try to follow up on the Sonya play? Who knows? Maybe Tyrael?
Well, you think about this, though.
The old school racer style, it's possible.
Sonya's reliant on using Whirlwind. Good luck Whirlwinding when you have a Muradin and an ETC on the enemy team. So they need more of a front line. Like, Sonya cannot be a front line. She just can't. Like, they need
She could be paired with another hero that is also of similar front line status. Somewhat less tanky.
Maybe Tyrael is the choice.
Tyrael's a possibility. Who else?
Okay, with Kerrigan.
Also another hero that likes to dive in and just be around the rest of the team to get the most efficiency out of that Maelstrom. Could we see Ultralisk here? Probably not.
I don't. Yeah, Ultra does make sense. You're going to need Maelstrom here. This is going to be a really interesting game. I really like Vivid's draft. I think they did a great job in this draft.
Sure. I mean, the Protect the Hammer / Nazebo.
Yeah.
It's difficult to deal with. Yeah, on Sky Temple, no less. I think it can work.
I think it can work as well. Just to introduce our two teams before we hop into the game, though, we can look over at Cloud9 Maelstrom. You guys have known they've been playing here in Competitive Heroes for a very long time. We have Dunk Train, King Caffeine, Biceps, iDream, and K1 Pro. We'll get those silhouettes filled eventually. And on the other half, it is, of course, Vivid Gaming. That's our new team that has just entered the league. So we'll get their information very soon. Get a nice, pretty graphic here for you.
But very much an up-and-coming team.
Yes.
Can't understate that enough. They've earned their spot, even though those teams have left. They're the next team in line. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they can bring into this league against all of these top teams. If they want to make a name for themselves, now's the time to do it.
It is. And they're starting off strong with a really nice draft here. I think it's a really good draft here for Sky Temple. Interesting bans. First time I've seen Mouth banned in a long time. But again, we explained why that's going to be happening. Again, this support meta. We're seeing first pick Uther, first pick Rhaegar. We're going into game number 1
on Sky Temple, no less.
I'm ready.
I'm definitely ready. I'm excited. It'd be cool to see how the Sonya Kerrigan play ends up piercing through that front line, right? It's cool. It's too. I'm not even gonna. I can't fairly call Kerrigan a tank, but people that dive in and then you have double warrior. That's very different than what we're used to seeing.
Do you think it's gonna be a dance game for ETC?
Yeah.
I think it makes more sense too.
If the team was a little bit more aggressive, you could go for stage dive, and we've seen it in the past, right? Stage dive to the backside of the enemy team to put down even more disruption. That's fine, but really, if you can even just throw the dance out to zone the enemy team away, that's getting more than enough value in this case, where you just want to make sure that Hammer can move forward, get those auto attacks off. Especially, I mean, I don't know if we talked about getting to level 20. It gets quite scary.
Nexus Frenzy?
Nexus Frenzy is pretty good. Graduating range and or hover siege, whatever you go at 16.
It's kind of okay.
First strike, 25% damage if you don't get hit within the last 5 seconds.
I don't think we'll see Giant Killer here. I think first strike makes a lot of sense. We'll find out, though. There's been a lot of variations. We've seen people get the barricade upgrade. We've seen a lot of different things with level 15 and 16. But guys, game number 1 is underway here, and in the blue side, we do have Vivid Gaming.
Is that? Nope.
We do have Cloud9 Maelstrom.
And we'll give, I guess we'll give a more proper introduction to Vivid. Yeah, Vivid Gaming. Jesus, just dropped their name for a second. All right. So for them on the red side, if you want to hop on over there, Jake, we do have Ivy Slime on Nazebo, Lex Uther is going to be playing Rhaegar, Sylaw on ETC, Ego on Sergeant Hammer, and Daihu on Muradin. Of course, we already talked about the beautiful boys over on C9 Maelstrom.
Maelstrom Life. Well, this watchtower here in the middle of the map is the most impactful watchtower of pretty much any map in the game. Considering the first spawn for the temples is top and middle, this controls the territory between the two, so it's quite crucial to have at the start of the game. Now, rushing to the tower isn't necessarily the only way to go about it, because you can always just wait for that team to grab it and then calmly walk over there and grab it yourself. But that's why you see Vala just hanging out. K1 Pro is just going to keep on hanging out, make sure nobody wants to come in there, and once he has to rotate up to the top line, he's going to make his way up there to soak.
Yes, the vision here is so much more impactful than any other map. It's good on maps like Blackheart's Bay, for example. Here, it gives you that extra vision of that shrine temple that's going to spawn, and we know that that spawns at minute and 30 seconds, so very early game, and it covers just about the entire shrine. So you get, oh, very nice dive in here from iDream, already getting that value out of the Kerrigan. If you were questioning it, she's still an early game beast. Of course, she only lost Rewind past 13, so that's the only place you're really going to see those changes so far, right? So
it's true. Still very powerful here, especially in the early game. And we can see these Master Skins going, and they're going to pick up Ivy Slime as well. 2 quick kills here going to Maelstrom very early on. 1 minute, 20 seconds into this game.
That's right. We have those temples popping up just as we talk now. They do spawn in a somewhat set order, at least for the first 5 or so. First 2 appear top mid, then it's bottom. 2 minutes after these shrines disappear, then it's either top bottom or mid bottom. So we'll be highlighting that as we go through the game, of course, but you'll notice some shifts from the teams position wise to get better ground, to get a little bit of a head start for those spots. And we see the dunk train is a little bit out of position here, might get caught out of off guard.
Oh, the ETC coming from below. That will guarantee this kill, but no, as I say guarantee, it actually turns around and they pick up a kill on ETC. A beautiful turn there, and Lex Luthor will end up falling as well. The Ancient Sphere just barely reaching, picking up 2 kills for nil when it looked like. That's the power of the Tastar and the Uther, though, because we saw Protective Shield, and we saw the shield coming up from Tastar, allowing Uther to get away, tap well, and he's perfectly healthy now.
Kept him alive, but also the other good thing to point out is the patience from the Kerrigan. She pulled 3 people into the combo. It was enough to make sure, yes, the shields were important, but the stuns were also there to lock out the rest of the enemy team. It allowed some time to put that damage down onto ETC, resulting in that kill. And that's 4 kills after. We missed kills? I thought we only saw 2 so far. Jeez, these guys are just going in.
The kills are racking up. King Caffeine, the big rotation here. Lex Luthor throwing down the totem, trying to keep that zoning away. That slows down everyone within it, and that's going to allow for a retreat. But this temple is going to go to the side of Maelstrom as well. Taking a 2-level lead here. Going to do some siege damage, but no structure damage is done. Doesn't take much to come back in the game at this point, though. I mean, it's still very early. The map initially we thought this map was going to be snowballing. That's a term we hate to use. We thought the map would be that way, but we've seen some crazy comebacks on this map because just one team fight can change so much. Ivy Slime getting some aggression here from iDream Dunk, but he's going to be able to back on out with a nice rotation of Daihu throwing out that stun.
What's the name of that nice skin that Nazebo's got on? Is it the Harlequin Nazebo?
Harlequin Zebo.
I love it. It's so nice. If he gets Ravenous Spirit, I'm sure he will. Pay attention to the nice spirit coming out. Oh, it's so cool looking. All right. Apparently that's my Ravenous Spirit noise.
Very good, Kubi. That's also the noise that I made in kindergarten.
Oh, okay. I see what you did there. That's great.
Looking at the builds here, we're seeing the Seismic Slam build and the Shot of Fury.
That was the next thing I was going to talk about. While we have a bit of lull between these 2 temples, is the Sonya build. Of course, she's probably the hero in this pool of 10 heroes that you guys are most unfamiliar with. And what we've seen, I guess, really Tuesday is the only game that the only day that we've seen Sonya played so far. It's mostly a slam build. She goes for Leap at level 10. Picks up the reduced mana cost for successive slams at 13. Stone Skin, it's a lot of survivability, and then 20, we're seeing the Hardened Shield picked up. So when she does slam in, oh my gosh. Whirlwind, does she have it? Yeah,
there it is.
There you go.
She's
Whirlwind
just
has a lot of
soloing 2 bruiser camps, and she's going to be just fine.
Yeah.
She soloed the aggressive one first, then backed up, grabbed the top ones. Hearthing for that health before the next temple spawn. Really nice. But that's the power of Sonya, because Whirlwind is so much self-healing. When you get in the middle of a bruiser camp, I think she can actually solo bruisers better than Giants early game.
I think at level 4 she's able to start soloing bruiser camps, which is probably faster than any other hero can do it. It's
like on yeah,
pretty nice.
That's pretty good.
So there we have it. The bottom temple has appeared, and you can now see the teams are starting to rotate down. And we'll have to see what they do. Some teams opt to leave a presence in the top lane if they think that it's not worth to grab and they want to get that experience. There's a pretty significant experience lead, and iDream is just jumping in. Does have 3 people caught in that Maelstrom. They're able to isolate that Muradin. very quickly with chain stuns. Things got ugly for him fast.
Yeah, Vivid had the right idea. They didn't have level 10. They were level 7 at the time to level 10. So they don't have heroics. So they know we can't fight over that temple. We're going to leave 3 people top. Well,
soak the lane or even apply some pressure to that top lane to get experience from those towers. It's a play that makes sense, and it seems as though Maelstrom was pretty keen on the idea. Wow, that dive in from the leap on King Caffeine there. Is he going to be able to get Ivy Slime? Yes, he is, but the rotation backwards from Sylol going to be able to pick up a kill on Vala. ETC pays for his life with that one, and Ego too.
They're gonna trade 1 for 3 with this. No, the Ancient Spear doesn't connect, so if Ego just keeps running away, he will actually be fine. But it doesn't want to overstay his welcome. The Ancient Spear, the Kerrigan, there's so much dive potential available. Lex, Uther, and Ego, they're just trying to continue to soak to hit that level 10. They need 10 before they can even fight these guys.
Right, and we should also talk about the silly amount of CC available in the form of heroics for C9 Maelstrom here. We have Divine Storm, we have the Leap from Sonya, we have the Rain of Vengeance.
It's a disgusting combo, it really is.
Yeah. It is. Alright, so what I would like to see out of Vivid Gaming here is very passive play. They really need to just catch up, get to level 10, reevaluate how they're approaching the team fights, and make the most of those new heroics that are going to be available to them at that time. What would you expect to see here for those heroics, Jake?
Okay, well...
Don't even have to answer the question because they're showing you right there.
Yes, they are. And we're actually going to see stage dive, which is actually kind of unexpected. I really wasn't expecting that. But everything else, pretty much standard. The Ravenous, the Ancestral, the Napalm, and the Avatar all being picked up. And this is going to put them back into an even fight potential. They are down the 3 levels. They are down that talent advantage. But it doesn't mean they can't fight because heroics are really the name of the game. They want to try to find a hook. Now, they have this double tank front line, and there's a lot riding on them getting a huge Ravenous Spirit. So there's so much pressure on the Nazebo to get a good position in a team fight and then just get a ton of damage done that they cannot sustain through.
Absolutely. This level differential that we have here, though, is very significant. Like you mentioned, we have those talents for Maelstrom. They are up that talent tier. So if we're going to see Vivid pick a fight, it's going to be one where it's heavily skewed position-wise in their favor, and they need to be very patient or try to find ways to force that situation.
Now, ETC is soaking the top lane because he has stage dive. This is something I like. This is a little bit like they know they need experience. They're trying to do that. The Mule, unfortunately, isn't getting anything done. He keeps looking for a job, and then his job just gets shut down. That building just got closed, and he just can't catch a break. But ETC, meanwhile, is sitting on this temple, and this is what they need to do. ETC, the team is doing a good job buying time here. These Giants are doing a lot of damage, and they will likely lose a keep. It's the structure damage they need. Nice juke by Lex Uther, dodging the Primal Grasp, and the Avatar goes in. Here is the stage dive, and that's the Ravenous Spirit we were talking about from afar, doing so much damage to K1 Pro, but is it going to be enough? The Ancestral just barely does not get off on Sylol, and this is going to be a huge amount of aggression coming out of Adrian on Kerrigan. Daihu, Dwarf tossing away, trying to get out of the situation, but they just don't manage to pick up those kills.
I thought that was going to go a lot worse for Vivid Gaming.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. I mean, just the way that the initiation went, yeah, Vala got very low, but after that,
yeah, that's true.
Just they managed to catch like at least 2 people, like back them up appropriately. Considering the amount of stuns that are available to Maelstrom, it could have gone much, much worse. And given the level differential here, it could
That's
have
a good point.
So nicely done to salvage that. Still, they are significantly far behind, and they need to make those, we'll just call them power plays at this point. They need to make a huge, huge play to get back in this game.
Well, they're trying to hold this middle temple, bottom temple being completely ignored at this point in time. Maelstrom is pushing on in. Level 13 has almost been picked up here by Vivid, and having those talents would be a nice little blessing, especially while they're on an even talent footing. But Maelstrom is slowly creeping onto that level 16 marker.
It's true. There was a small window of opportunity where the only heroic up was Ancestral Healing, and that might have been a time to try to make a play, but relying on just that, you're going to need a very tight execution of everyone's CCs from the Vivid side, so I can understand why they wouldn't try to make that play, but they do need to do something risky at this point. Because, I mean, we've talked about the nature of the map. Geez, Daihu is just walking into that bush. Of course, he can't see past it, so he does walk into a bit of a trap, and the leap going in.
Yeah, and when you see the Ancestral used like that, that is your cue to go on in. The Ravenous is interrupted almost immediately. This double dive style of Kerrigan and Sonya is doing wonders right now. Daihu will fall. Hammer will be the only one to survive, and they're going to ignore this bottom temple and just push on in. Oh, nope. Nope, I'm wrong.
It's a passive play. They definitely could have done a significant amount of damage to the core had they so chosen to do that. But we talked about the nature of this map. When you take these temples, they siege from a very large distance onto those structures, the keeps at this point. It's a very safe and almost guaranteed play for them to just back up, take the boss, take the bottom temple. They're going to probably lose that middle keep, and since they're so far ahead in level and they have that level 16 set of talents, it's going to be very difficult for Vivid to try to shove them off the next set of temples that pop up.
They have a hill to climb, but they're not done yet. They still have 2 keeps standing, and if they take a good team fight or 2, they are back on in this game. 3 levels down, like we said. It's a hill to climb for sure. And just kind of looking over the builds, we're seeing Barricade again. That's kind of become a little bit more popular in the current current meta. It's pretty interesting to see that picked up in this game because they have this dive style. So if you can get that Barricade in front of you, you can get away from that Sonya or that Kerrigan. Might be what you need. And of course, a Concussive Blast does knock back further than what we used to see.
True.
But how's the Sonya build look compared to what you expect to see?
That is exactly what I told you guys it would be. And that seems to be, I will say, the only way that people seem to have found a way to make Sonya work. And this game, it has been doing wonders. The Leafs chained into the Divine Storms have been on their mark, more or less, the whole time.
I mean, the damage out of Sonya and Kerrigan is looking solid in this game. Zavala, of course, is a formidable damage dealer, and she is on top of the charts, just poking away at these towers, getting that experience, extending their lead even further into the terms of the max experience.
All right, Jake. What is the ideal way for Vivid to initiate a fight?
They need to find a cheeky spot where the Ravenous can exist, but they need to bait out the Leap first, and that's so hard to do. And here's the thing. If you have that Ravenous over a wall, Maelstrom has like an answer to everything. So it's like it's hard to get those plays to happen because Cassadar pops Oracle. You now have Vision. Kerrigan now dives over the wall. Guess what? She's just going to stun you out. So they have so many answers. They just need to try to bait the cooldowns before the Ravenous comes out, and then they need to focus the target down. It's really tough, though, and honestly, at this point, it's going to come down to Maelstrom making a mistake.
That's possible. I mean, but we need to look at situations where Vivid can try to force this mistake. Lex Uther getting caught a little bit out of position. That's not one of them, though, although a nice dodge on that Kerrigan combo.
See, if they can turn here, and they can manage to pick up Vala. Oh no, but Daihu is in a rough stop. Pop the Avatar. There goes the Ancestral. Very nicely done, and that Ravenous is zoned out really well, so they're doing a lot of work. If they can pick up K1 Pro, no. There goes the healing at the last second. Silol gets hit by the Leap, the Heroic Leap, stunning him out long enough for K1 Pro to get out of that situation. They keep getting so close to a kill. Hydrant will finally fall, so that's 1 kill on the board. They need to capitalize on this more, though. Silol needs to stay alive. Yes, he's backing up nicely. That Archon doing a lot of damage. And
oh, no. The Feral Lunge from Lex Luthor there was almost enough to kill Bicep. Still, though, trades at this point in time are absolutely going to be in favor of Vivid Gaming. The death timers are lower on their side, and they get that underdog experience bonus, right?
Yep.
If they can continue to make small trades like this while holding map presence, they can come back.
So this is interesting.
It's a tall order, though.
We're seeing Executioner on Hammer, but Silol is going on in. He's going to get blown up very quickly, and oh no, if Ancestral is just a few seconds away, if they just bought a few more times, that could have worked out so much better for them. There's the Ancestral going off from Lex Uther. He's going to back on out. No, he's going to end up getting blown up. A little bit of miscommunication there. If they just stalled and they played footsies for 5 seconds, and ETC then goes in and gets that Ancestral, Cloud9 might have overcommitted. It's kind of stuff they need to do here. It
was a matter of information at that point in time. ETC didn't quite know what was over the wall. He was scouting out for the rest of his team. He is the, CC control guy along with Muradin there. He's the one who can probably get out of a sticky situation the most.
True.
His health pool, maybe not the smartest of ideas in that point in time. But I mean, that was a theory. If they just figured we can at least just see what they're doing, have some control over that, and maybe they won't get so aggressive here because they are down Kerrigan. That's part of their initiation for teamfights. Not the case. They were still able to punish ETC, and now they find themselves in a dire situation.
Well, this mule does have a job today, and he is going to work. And there's a Ravenous Spirit going out. K1 Pro is very low. Silo trying to find a target with that stage dive. There's so much healing between the Uther and the Tesla. A nice heroic leap coming out of King Caffeine, and the Rain of Vengeance there to peel. We see the Ancestral getting off just at the last possible moment, but everyone is so low. King Caffeine does fall. iDream is sprinting away, getting out of the situation, and there is a kill on Uther as well. This is the turn they need. They keep the mule healing up that keep, and they can turn this around. They're catching up in experience. They're almost level 18. And this is going to be a kill here on K1 Pro. Very nicely done.
Yeah, the rest of the team is catching up in that situation. Now, Maelstrom has been doing a pretty good job of negating Muradin's ability to leap in and lock down a target with Cleanse. The Cleanse has been pretty on point. However, there are 2 CCs available, or 2 just like CC heroes available on the side of Vivid Gaming. So if they were just hoping that the 1 Cleanse would be enough to get that target out of the way, not the case. You still have ETC going in there to follow up in those situations, and it worked out quite well for them there. They're showing some momentum here, and I like that they need to be very controlling with how far Maelstrom gets out on the map. That's going to be the big story moving forward if Vivid wants to try to take this game.
And Vivid is going to probably get greedy here and try to hold both temples. I like that they have Rhaegar down here by himself, because Rhaegar can't be dismounted. He's got that extra mobility. He's pretty safe in getting away from situations that are bad. They're going to go to top, and the last member of this game, or the only dead member, will be respawning in 5 seconds. And it looks like they're just kind of being cautious here.
The rotation, if they're going to do the double temple play, the rotations have to be on point. They need to get a kill out of it, basically, to get control of both of them. Now, they do have a mule. We talked about it before. That keep on the top lane there is about almost 2/3 health. So they can come back even in situations where, I mean, they need to be able to soak up tower shots, but giving up both of these temples is...
And mule's ready to be used. I don't know why they're not using it. This is a big misplay. By not dropping that mule, I mean, it is off cooldown, so that's something they need to work on. They really need to drop it, and that top keep is about to fall. Yes, it does fall there.
Yeah. So we're going to see quite rotation from both teams here. There will be a fight over this temple.
Oh my goodness! 4 people getting hit by that heroic leap, and the massive Divine Hurricane coming out. Oh my goodness, the Ancestral Healing is going to be enough to keep the Hammer alive, but not enough to save Zebo. The Rain of Vengeance catching both Silo and Daihu. Daihu is going to get blown up here. ETC stage dive back to safety into his base. Are they all going to live? Does Ego have what it takes? He does not. The final 2 members, 3 members here, going to try to defend this. Dwarf toss out.
Nice rotation. Yeah, actually, nice play there from iDream on Kerrigan. Actually used Sprint to rotate around the top side of that building to get in to flank the rest of the team in conjunction with the leap. A very nice play, and we see King Caffeine's a little bit of trouble, but he is spinning to win, baby, and he's getting those kills. Goodness. Power of Sonya, let's go.
The power of stuns, and they just go on forward and blow up the final member here. That's going to be game number 1. Honestly, though, Vivid was bringing it back.
They did bring it back, and the situation they were in was, I'll be honest with you, it was very bad. It was real bad.
Yeah.
Okay, but they didn't give up. They
never give up, never surrender.
Jake, the life coach. But no, they kept their composure, and they didn't crack. I don't know how you want to, they didn't. They falter in the situation where it's like, okay, we're probably going to lose this game. They kept trying. They kept, the determination was there, and I like to see that. They need to have that kind of play because, had a couple more, switch plays in the right direction for them when they needed to hold both of those temples. They had picked up a kill or 2 there. Things could look very different at this point.
Yeah.
So,
they got behind very early, and Maelstrom kept that lead. And Maelstrom was just rotating very aggressively. They made a lot of smart stuff, smart calls, like not going to the bottom temple when they don't have level 10. But Maelstrom reacted to that. I think they were
that was a good play.
I think they were thinking hey, we're going to be completely safe here. Let's push in. And then a partner bush comes out with 3 people. Maelstrom was expecting all that kind of stuff.
It was a meta play.
So it was really meta. It was really high end by both teams, knowing what to do. So well done by both teams. But the victory is going to go to Maelstrom for game number 1.
That's correct. And we will get a lobby set up for you guys and go to game number 2 of Vivid Gaming versus C9 Maelstrom. So you guys stick around. We'll be back in about 5 minutes.
Guys, welcome back here to the ESL Major League Americas. This guy is the Kubis.
And this guy is Solid Jake.
You should have went with it. I said Kubis. You could have said Jackus.
Jackus. I don't know. I don't call you Jackus. That's a weird name.
That's a weird name.
I don't know. Not liking it.
Okay.
Nicknames you just know. You know when you hear it, it's like, okay, no, not feeling that one.
Okay.
Not happening.
You know what we are feeling?
What's that?
The Garden of Terror.
Oh.
Oh.
Nice vegetables there, I hear.
They are nice vegetables.
Do we have a draft ready?
I think we might. We're gonna find out. Production things. Bam.
Oh, looking very similar to the last one.
Bam, ban on Illidan.
That's coming out of Vivid Gaming again. So this means that Maelstrom gave up first ban? No, they gave up first ban the first pick. I actually don't know who won the coin flip, so it's not fair for me to make that claim. That said, how do you feel about that last draft? Overall, how did it play out? What should they change if they were to face a similar strategy from Maelstrom? Vivid Gaming, of course, I'm asking from their perspective.
Overall, it worked out really well. The Ravenous was dealt with almost every single time, though. Whether it was just being healed through by the Tassadar Uther, or it never like won a fight, I guess was the problem. And the double tanks it didn't really seem to do as much as they hoped for, because they would just dive past the tanks and stop whatever they needed to do and blow up that target they needed to blow up with very little damage coming out of the side of Vivid, it seemed. So I really liked the idea of their draft, but I think Maelstrom just responded to it properly, really.
I would agree.
This is identical. Rhaegar is gonna.
They actually grabbed.
Okay, Rhaegar is gonna swap sides.
Rhaegar is the first pick. Yeah, yes. So likely will swap.
I don't think Maelstrom will give up Rhaegar. He's picked up first thing, and there's Tassadar. So they're really just valuing that Tassadar. They know having the Uther plus the Tassadar or the Rhaegar plus the Tassadar is a pseudo double support. Mm-hmm. And it worked out well from that last game.
Now, I know they didn't really get to shine too much past level 16, Vivid Gaming, but I'm thinking that Hover Siege mode could have helped them quite a bit in terms of forcing C9 Maelstrom to make the initiation. And then instead of having the tanks diving too far forward, they're hanging back, right? And just allow the Siege tank to inch forward. It was just the way that the team fights ended up initiating. Like, you have to wait for that leap.
Right.
And once the leap happens, then you have to adjust your strategy. You're a defensive style team. And it just kind of seemed like they put themselves too far forward in a lot of cases. And Maelstrom just reacted properly, dived in, and it was too hard to control what was happening out of the Sonya, out of the Kerrigan, and things spiraled out of control in those fights, more often than not.
Yeah, I really can't disagree. Executioner didn't really seem like it paid off. Like, yeah, you might have like a lot of CC on your team, and Executioner could get a lot of use in that scenario. Mm-hmm. But the utility and just like guaranteed damage you get for having Hover Siege, I think would have been much more significant. Having the additional safety and range available, forcing them over that line, like you said. And we're actually seeing ETC Zebo again, so they're really sticking to a similar style. They're going to have that ETC frontliner who is very strong, but now they have the stuns, they have the Divine Storm, they have that extra burst healing and stuff out of just the standard heal from Uther. And I like Uther better in this style play. Oh no, there he is.
It is Garden of Terror. Let's keep that in mind. We do have the Asmodan,
the Lord of Sin.
C9 Maelstrom here.
The Lord of Sin. Now, if you're saying, scratching your head, I thought Asmodan was bad. Well, he was bad until they figured him out.
Ooh. And what does figured out mean, Jake? What does that mean?
Well,
is there a specific build or something that Asmodan does?
Yeah, there's this kind of globe style build, Globe of Annihilation. You guys probably are calling it the Dunk.
Globetrotter boys.
Globetrotter boys. You can actually get a talent at level 1 that makes it so that when you last hit with the globe on enemy minions, it gains 2 damage for every enemy you kill. And as the game progresses, it gets more and more and more powerful to the point where it can be quite scary.
Now, Jake, you have a level 10 Asmodan, right?
I do.
I'm going to put you on the spot here.
Okay.
Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Kubi's question time. Whew. What is the name of the level 1 talent to modify to make him a Globetrotter? A certified Globetrotter. What is the name of it? Does he know?
Demonic.
Ooh.
No. I'm just saying random Diablo things.
Oh, man.
Something. I don't know. I'm failing here. I give up.
Find out.
Time to cheat.
Time to cheat, he says.
Taste for blood.
Taste for blood. He'll never forget it, guys. You guys can hold him to that stream. Hold him to that. He'll never forget it.
He'll never forget it. Well, we are seeing Sonya here on the side of Vivid Gaming, so this has changed dramatically. Sonya is something that can help stop the Diablo. Now,
rumor has it rumor has it that the Sonya style was developed strictly to deal with Asmodan. But originally it was Sonya Illidan together on the team.
Right, and that's
to deal with
not what we're going to see. But the idea is you want to stop Sonya from being able to farm. So things that can blow him up, like Zeratul, which we're seeing on the side of Maelstrom, or Sonya, people that can really just get onto Asmodan, really start doing a lot of damage to him, and deny him from getting any kind of soak is what they want to do. And they're actually going for Tyrande as well. So I really like this because she's a pseudo support. She helps be like that second support, but she also has Hunter's Mark and Lunar Flare, which will help blow up Asmodan. So you pair a roaming Tyrande Sonya, maybe that's something that works to really just blow up that Asmodan.
Very good points. Very good points in the stitches. Now, here's what the stitches is going to mean for Vivid Gaming. Everyone has to respect the hook, of course. That's just how counterplay to stitches works. You have to respect the hook, and you got to make sure that your positioning is strong.
Peter Pan didn't respect the hook.
Oh my god. Out of the blue. Nazeebo actually kind of looks like Peter Pan. Oh, you guys can't see that.
Production things?
Look at that, Peter Pan. All right. Anyway, you have to respect the hook, of course, and that's going to almost force defensive posture out of Vivid Gaming until they're able to get the right time to go in with the slam. And if you're spending too much time defensively against Asmodan,
he's just getting stronger.
That's a lot. It's not even so much the fact that he's stronger. Let's just assume it's past level 10. He's already hitting hard. But if you're giving him a lot of time to fire off 2, maybe 3 globes in a fight, that's, the damage adds up real fast.
All right, so let's talk about a match from a tournament that happened last week. We saw Asmodan on Dragonshire, and the globe has an incredibly long cast range. You can throw that globe from downtown, if you will.
Downtown.
And you can get those slam dunks. Well, Arthlon from Tempest Storm was playing in Asmodan, and it was Dragonshire. He was soaking top, middle, and bottom pretty effectively. So he had over 470 bonus damage prior to 10 minutes. He hits level 10, he gets Black Pool. That's 75% bonus damage on all the abilities you cast while standing in the Black Pool. And then he's hitting, I mean, by the end of the game, he was doing like 1,400 damage. And to put it into perspective, Brightwing had like 3,300 health at that point in the game. Like, it was scary. It was scary. You could say the Lord of Sin was sinning.
Grinning? Was that what you were going for?
Yes.
We're going to have to give you the crash course on puns. I don't know about that one, Jake.
Good.
I don't know about that one. All right. On the blue side, of course, we have our newest contenders, Vivid Gaming.
And on the right side, we do have Cloud9 Maelstrom, but I'm doing some production.
Oh, look at that.
Making things
look
nice
at that.
And pretty real quick.
So, Jake, actually, while you're doing that, could you call up the talents real quick? I can give those a quick talking to. Of course, we do see that Taste for Blood talent grabbed at level 1 for Asmodan. Oh, the other thing to mention is also, Stitches players seem to have been leaning towards these slam builds once again. Now, why that is, I'm not really sure. I was sort of theory crafting about it last time, and yeah, the extra damage is nice. And we'll notice that his damage numbers are quite high, at least towards the end of the game, but it's not burst damage, right? It's never, or rarely will be in a situation where it forces a kill. Now, it may be that they want the extra CC in the form of increased slam size and pulverize at level 16, but that's a ways down the road. So I'm always curious. We'll see what kind of positions Stitches gets into. Does he really need that extra HP?
Right.
And that's really the big thing to look for to determine the value of which build makes a lot more sense.
I think you pointed out Tuesday, you said maybe teams just are finding that he doesn't need all that extra support.
It's very possible.
So
very possible.
He's a very strong tank. iDream looping around here, looking for a sack, and or snack. He's gonna get some damage done there. Just being a cheeky Zeratul, running around, dealing damage, and then backing off. That's what Zeratul's do best. In K1 Pro, we're gonna watch his journey here. We can see the level 1 talent here on Asmodan, Taste for Blood, and if we hover over, we'll see that he has 24 bonus damage right now. That will scale throughout the game.
Ooh, a little bit of pressure. Hold on a second here. Biceps getting himself caught out. Okay, he does tap that Dimensional Warp just to make sure he gets out in time. Very nice, safe talent to have, or ability, sorry. Dance your pants off, Jake. I see you highlighting that. That's a rare pick. Now, it's very much likely that it is related to it being on Garden of Terror. iDream did not have the blink to get out of that situation. Yep. Good catch there from Vivid Gaming. So, back to this Dance Your Pants Off thing. If you guys aren't familiar with it, enemies hit by Face Melt, that's the knockback, the W. They dance for 5 seconds, disabling camps, minions, and wave. I don't recall if it affects the boss, the boss that appears.
We're gonna find out, because
that's the only thing I can think of as to why you would want to grab that. So we'll be paying attention to that, seeing if that's the case. I don't recall it affecting the boss, but if it does, that might justify it for sure.
Now, a second kill was picked up there here by Vivid Gaming. They're now up 2-0, so they have a nice level experience lead. First time in this series they've had an experience lead, so it's a nice start on this game. But we do see that we have Maelstrom trying to get the seeds from this bottom plant terror. Looks like Maelstrom has seen this. We see the headway coming down out of Tyrande, but they're just going to opt to trade here in the top. And does Dance Your Pants Off work on the Garden Terror?
I don't think so. No, I would have used it by now if it did. So, not the case. Perhaps it's just to allow for better roaming in terms of taking camps. We'll have to see. I'll pay attention to ETC to see what the value is there. Who knows? Maybe it's a misclick. We'll find out.
Wow.
We'll find out.
So Zebo was picked off, so that's 2 for 1. Missed that kill there for you. Garden Terror is available, spawning in just 2 seconds. Currently growing, and we see Merc Camps being picked up. Checking on the status of these globes, now at 56 bonus damage. Still not really scary, but it is going up.
Right, and we didn't get a chance to talk too much about the Seed Camp and how the Seed War was going. That did go to Vivid Gaming. Of course, we can see that they do have a Garden Terror available, and it doesn't look like anyone's grabbing it yet. I guess they're going to save, wait for the right situation here. There is no rush since, of course, Maelstrom does not have a Garden Terror of their own.
Yeah, and I like this call. They said, hey, let's grab the Merc Camp, then we'll grab the Terror. They grab these top Giants. Giants are now something that Maelstrom has to think about, while the Plant Terror is going to opt to go different lanes. They'll probably throw down the Overgrowth here in the middle, and maybe they'll make the way to the bottom of the map.
Absolutely. And, of course, when you do cap that Garden Terror, taking camps is unavailable on the map. So, like you said, very smart play to make. I like it. Pressing their advantage as much as possible. And we mentioned before, they do have that experience lead. They're looking a lot more solid, especially in the early game against Maelstrom here. I like the play so far.
All right, so we are seeing actually kind of a weird mix build. Tenderizer and Amplified Healing, so it's not a slam build at all. We were talking about how slam build is becoming more popular, but Stitches is actually seeing a lot of early deaths, saying, hey, look, these guys have some serious damage potential, especially with stuff like Hunter's Mark, and maybe they're opting to go in for the additional healing. And looking at Tassadar also going for the healing ward, then the static charge, but we're seeing Farsight, not the Feral Heart out of the Rhaegar player.
That's true. And back to the point on Stitches, the few times that we did see mixed builds, I want to say it was on Soldier Tuesday night. He ended up taking Chew Your Food at level 1 and then Slam Talents or trait upgrades.
Like Vile Cleaver and stuff.
So yeah, it seems to be all over the place in terms of what Stitches prefer. It may just be a preference thing.
That's good.
From player to player, which
that's just good game
absolutely
design.
That is good, because we'd like to see those talents evolve into that. And Daihu has caught himself into a little bit of a situation.
But a nice zombie wall, zoning iDream out for a little while, but it's not going to be enough to save him, as we have this big rotation out of Maelstrom, picking up another kill, 2 for 2 at this point.
Nicely done. Nicely done. Very close to that level 10 for both teams here. Yeah. Let's see. What are these heroics that we're going to be looking at? Leap once again for Sonya. I wouldn't expect to see Wrath of the Berserker. While it is a nice talent, you're putting a lot of eggs into the Whirlwind Spin to Win basket.
Spin to
And
win.
if you do get one of those stuns appearing from the enemy team, which could be in the form of Stitches, Slam, Hook, I guess that's it,
But this is like a really AoE-centric kind of composition. They have the Leap, followed by the Divine Storm, and then Dance. So they can do a lot of combos with this. They get that first Leap, then they start up the Dance, and they follow up with Divine Storm. Meanwhile, Starfall is raining hell on them, and Ravenous Spirit going to town. They have a lot of potential in terms of the Wombo Combo-esque style here with their composition.
It's very true. Overall, Sonya plus Uther, it's a very scary combo. I've seen it do wonders, just annihilating entire teams in a matter of a second. And we see Daihu leaping in right there.
A bit of an overlap with the Heroic Leap and the Divine Storm, but they get the hill either way, so no harm, no foul. And that's going to be a 1 kill for 2 Heroics. Night has just begun, so this is a great opportunity to get a lot of seeds, but there's no way they're going to deny a Plant Terror out of Maelstrom.
Okay. Blackpool grabbed for Asmodee. I don't know if we get a chance to talk about that, but yeah, that is part of that standard build for those Annihilation Globes. It just charges them up, gets them extra strong. Putrid Bile, that seems to be a flex pick for Stitches as to which they prefer there, whether it be the Globe to isolate and pull members out. Yeah, we're already seeing that damage.
Yeah, when he's standing on that black pool, that 75% additional damage, like Lex Luthor was just melting. Oh, the dunk goes out, does not actually catch anyone. Tapping the well here. All three members have tapped the well, and their Maelstrom is going for the seeds on this bottom plant terror. They do have their first terror of the game growing, and they want to collect more seeds. But I think Vivid needs to just kind of count their losses, go to the top lane, and grab those seeds.
Yeah, they're absolutely not going to be able to pick up any of the seeds from the bottom terror. And that seems to be exactly what they're doing. We do see the rotation from Daihu and Lex Luthor up to these top terror. Maelstrom, they had collected some seeds from that previous night. They weren't able to get a terror then, but it's an early head start onto the terror this time. And they're going to use it to contest this top one. We see a really nice hook come out of King Caffeine.
He's got to assume they're there, and he does just that. Level 13 has been picked up for Vivid Gaming, so they have a slight advantage, but they do have to fight a plant terror on the other side. So they're going to be cautious here, and they're just going to try to poke and prod at the terror without taking a full engagement. But these two members being zoned out, yes, he's looking for the hook. King Caffeine sees weakness, he goes for it, but in one overstep by Zeratul, Divine Storm goes out. They get a kill, a huge Lunar Flare, followed by a leap and a Dance of the Ravenous Spirit, and a huge combo, picking up one kill. King Caffeine's going to be hard to secure. He will escape, but that will allow them to pick up the seeds here.
Absolutely. That was a very nice combination there to land the dance. However, I will say the counterplay from the Terror to throw down the Polymorph sort of was a bit of damage control. It worked, but there is a little bit of delay before that starts. So he did throw it down right away, and it definitely saved King Caffeine from that situation. Still, though, they did lose to two heroes, being Zeratul and Rhaegar. Nicely executed from Vivid Gaming. I was pretty impressed with that play.
Yeah, they saw the Lunar Flare go down, and they were were on it. And they didn't even have Divine Storm available that was already used, and they still made it look amazing. So, nicely done. Biceps trying to pick up his bottom fort here with the Plant Terror. Not sure if he's going to be able to do that. Nope. He is going to back on out his Dimensional Shift. And iDream rotating down, so Daihu does have to be careful, and he's backing on up.
And for the Stitches build, we're just sort of keeping an eye on that to see what they're valuing, at least levels 13 and 16. We do see the Relentless. That is probably pointing towards a fishing hook style. Given the rest of their composition, we were talking about the threat of the hook before the game, and if you can really scare the enemy team, and we know that King Caffeine has full potential to land those hooks. We've seen it in the past, so they have to respect that, of course, and the longer they're playing around that, respecting, more damage is being thrown out from Asmodee from afar. As we see here, case in point.
Look at this blue flashlight on the face of the Terror. He's just shining it all over the map. If there was a cat, it would just be chasing it.
He should have like a minor light plant on the top of his head. That's kind of what it looks like, right?
Yeah. Well, the shield's coming out. The black pool does go down, and they're trying to throw that damage. That overgrowth is going to do a decent chunk, but they're just going to blow it up. The positioning here could be a little bit more passive. You get through the overgrowth a little bit further back, allowing it to do a little bit more damage. But there's the initiation just with the hook, deciding to back on out, using that Ancient Spear. And the Globe is just going to continue to do damage. So they're using this Terror incredibly defensively. I think they just want to maximize utility. There's the Starfall and the Heroic Leap. We see the Ancestral Healing going off, and Daihu is managing to stay alive with the spin and win. And the Ravage is kind of going to town. Only Zeratul has fallen so far.
I was watching very intently to see what the initiation for that fight would be. We did see the hook originally go down onto Daihu. Probably not the best of target, considering that she does always have that leap. Not always, but in this case, they're waiting for that initiation to happen before they threw the leap down. They wanted to make sure they were able to chain the targets together between leap and Divine Storm. Very patient play from Vivid Gaming. I'm going to say a bad hook because Sonya's really not the person you want to hook. They saw that happen. One member was a little bit out of position on the top side near the fort. They capitalized, went in, got the kill on Zeratul very quickly. Nicely done. Once again from Vivid Gaming.
It was nicely done, and they're doing a great job in this game, but we can't forget the power of Asmodee as the game continues going through.
It's very true.
Looking at his globe, he's sitting at 196 bonus damage currently. So it's not unbearable, but as we get to 20 minutes, that will at least be double, and it'll just continue to get stronger and stronger and stronger. So it's something that we have to keep in consideration this entire time. Top bruisers were picked up, and I like this party push opportunity. Daihu is going to show himself, and Dunk Train's going to back on out.
Absolutely. So, from what you've seen from Asmodan play in the past, how are his stacks doing? Is he farming well? That was a bit of a misplay.
I don't think we've seen him play in Garden. This is definitely lower than what we saw the last 2 games. I'd say it's about on par with what we saw out of Soldier on Blackheart's Bay. So it's pretty much the normal pacing. Not good, but not like overwhelming kind of deal.
So at what level would you expect to see this start to become a real problem for Vivid Gaming?
It's
past
more,
20?
It's more time. It's more around the 18, 19, 20 minute mark.
That's fair. That's fair.
And at that point, he's just going to start hitting harder and harder. I mean, it's already doing a sizable amount of damage, but at that point, it's going to start ending lives. And they are going... I mean, how quickly did that Garden Terror fall? Well, it fell pretty quick. Looks like Vivid's going to be able to bully them off the Terror, try to steal some seeds, and they're going to end up cleaning up the rest of the seeds. Only 6 away is Maelstrom, and they do a really nice job denying that. Now, the hook goes over the wall.
A bit predictive. But I was hoping to see some members of Vivid Gaming getting a little bit... I guess cheeky would be the right word to use there, overextending quite a bit, but nope, Vivid Gaming did not take the bait. They were still respecting the hook like we were talking about earlier, taking the seeds from them at the bottom lane and backing up.
All right, so Vivid is a bit split right now, and they need to make sure, okay, yep, they're going to be fine. Maelstrom is respecting them, and a little bit further back, Experience is almost dead even right now. That Hedwig is going to deliver 2 packages, revealing their position, and here comes that Globe of Annihilation. Already doing, I mean, hitting 3 members, they all took a good chunk of damage.
I'm curious to see, I'm going to pay attention to see where the Void Prison is getting into play here. iDream, yeah, he's poking around. He's looking for situations to get some spike damage in, but it's not level 20 yet, right? So
no, you're right.
He doesn't have that rewind, so the burst damage is good from iDream, but I'm curious to see if they're going to try to lock down some people with this Void Prison. No, not quite.
All right, one
also looking for a hook. Yeah, the Putrid Bile is going down as well.
And Starfall, so 1 and 1. He's looking for that globe. He's sitting on his black pool, and it will find no one.
Vivid Gaming is backing up. Thought they were going to be taking one of these camps. Let's see why they wouldn't. They do have...
The Putrid Bile sounds are actually awful. I just heard like...
the worst.
It's just... Anyways.
The game plan is... Yeah, it looks like both teams are just going to back up before either team decides to cap one of the Garden Terrors. They're just going to back up, take a couple camps, smart play. And it looks like they're going to split. Perhaps Maelstrom is going to be going to the top lane. Are we going to have Rock'em Sock'em plant robot fights?
I think we will. The Rock'em Sock'em Terrors are about to engage with each other. The Giants are already just playing hack. What do you call that? Hot potato?
Hot potato, yes.
Hot potato here.
When they're throwing the hot rocks back and forth. I just don't know, like they should be walking past each other getting their jobs done, but they just want to play hacky sack the whole time. I don't get it. Someone should probably yell at them for slacking a bit.
Okay, nice hook onto the Terror. They want to try to blow the Terror up. The Lunar Flare goes down. There is no leap follow-up this time. Meanwhile, this Guard Terror is sitting in the top lane uncontested. They want to push in as 5. They do have that Night Camp in the bottom lane pushing for Vivid Gaming. And those globes are just doing so much damage.
Setting up, but of course you have to remember there is like 1.5 supports available.
It's true.
There is the healing ward on Saranda. She does have a heal built into her kit. Healing from Uther, protective shield. So they can mitigate it a little bit.
And we're talking about just the damage from the globes, but this general hell pushing in the top lane with the Plant Terror is actually making a pretty big difference for the push out of Maelstrom. Now we see the Lunar Flare being used in a position where it's going to do a lot of structural damage, but it's not doing a ton of damage to the heroes. Every single hero of Maelstrom is not within that. The Divine Storm, the Lunar Flare is used a little bit forward, but that leap will pick up the kill. This keep is going to fall. The first keep of the game has been destroyed, but the Terror is going to take out the top keep of Vivid Gaming.
Oh, he's pushing out of the core. He's trying to get them to back up.
Oh, no, Daihu is very low. He needs a heal desperately. He's going to spin, but it's not going to be enough. The Ancestral Healing does go off for Dunk Train, and Ivy Slime gets picked up by a big hook.
The Black Pool going out. The Globe going in. And the hook. Does he have it? There's some creeps in the way. It's not going to be able. He's going to have to position himself a little bit.
2 seconds, 2 seconds, 2 seconds. Now it's available.
That nerf coming in. He needs that hook. Are they going to try and chase to get some more kills?
Oh,
going down. That's a good target. Are they going to be able to capitalize?
Yeah, she's going to be hard to kill, but nicely done by Silo, backing them up. But look at these globes. All right. Asmodan update coming up here. Looking at his stacks, he's sitting at 264. Not astronomical, but his damage is 52,000 damage done. The next highest in the game is Nazebo at 26,000. Like, that's just consistent damage being done, forcing you to spend mana for Tyrande and Uther to try to heal through that and keep your team in a healthy state.
Very good points. Now, pay attention in the next fight. Watch the Zeratul positioning. What they're trying to do is chain together the Globe of Annihilations into the back line to hit either Tyrande onto Uther or Nazebo if they can catch him. And then as soon as the globe hits, the combo goes down from Zeratul. They're hoping to burst someone down faster than they can get healed.
It's a cool strategy.
So he's not looking at all for VP. I think they're just probably saving VP for safety situations and to chase to get kills after if the fight's going in their favor. And they're strictly looking to get they're chaining it together with Zeratul to almost get a burst situation. It's cool. I like this play.
Viv is doing a good job not getting blown up, though. I have to say they're doing a really good job keeping that Zeratul like in check all the time. I mean,
That's a good point.
Even with these clairvoyances, I mean, Vivid Gaming is up 7 kills to 3 right now, even though there's a massive damage differential on that Asmodan. They have the sustain to get through that, and they're doing a wonderful job. But we see the Merc camps being picked up. They got the seeds, all 5 members here.
Level 20.
And yeah, 20. That's a big thing.
That is a big deal. We see Slow now is applied to the Blackpool abilities. Rewind on Zeratul, so that burst damage I was talking about, it just doubled. Something to think about. And we're seeing an execution here onto Lex Uther. That's a lot of ability spent down. They're going to pick up the kill.
Yeah, he is.
Good rotation from Maelstrom, and they're in the lead now. They have that level of advantage. Of course, we do have level 20 picked up for Vivid Gaming. Anything super impactful? The extra range and radius onto Divine Hurricane is very big, and of course the hardened shield on Sonya, so that when she gets in there, it's not as dangerous.
That
almost
rewind,
ego, yeah.
Oh my goodness, the rewind of Zeratul. There's the VP. They're going to set up here for a big attack.
There it is.
Oh my goodness, he just got absolutely obliterated with the Zeratul in the globe. Heroic Leap going in with the Ravenous Spirit, but the Ancestral Healing does get off an Eye Dream, keeping them alive very close. They almost picked up a few kills, but it will be an ace here for Cloud9 Maelstrom.
I imagine they're going to end the game. I don't see why they wouldn't just rush to the core. They still have every member of their team alive, including their healer. So they have the sustain. They've got the damage. Go for it. And that last fight, they executed that combo. Why not just walk around? Okay,
yeah,
they're just going in. They're going in. All right. So they executed the combo with Zeratul, picking themselves up an early kill. The VP was there. The rewind damage is so scary at this point in the game, and we're talking about how much scary it would get at 20, but it almost seemed like as soon as they did hit 20, they just ended the game.
Yeah. I'm glad we got to see the Asmodan Zeratul come to fruition, but it was just really solid play by both teams, but Maelstrom just took that one fight they needed at the end, and they ended it.
And his stacks were actually fairly low. I don't know if that's because of the map. Only had
328 isn't it's low compared
you want about
to that
400 by level 20 or so. That's a pretty good benchmark.
I think the thing is though, Vivid did a really good job keeping them pressured forward. They kept them pressured forward. So the thing is they kept so much aggression on the map that Aspen just couldn't sit there and farm, and that's why the number wasn't as high, because he wasn't able to just kind of sit back and farm. Yeah, the number wasn't that high, but based on the scenario, I'm not really too surprised.
They still made it work,
yeah,
especially with the Zeratul in the backline. Vivid Gaming was doing a very good job early game. A lot of the the blow-ups that we saw where Sonya was leaping in, it was on Zeratul, and they were chaining their CCs together to eliminate him. Once he's gone, that burst threat is out of the picture, and they're able to push forward. That's why they had the advantage going into almost level 18 and beyond. As soon as they hit level 20, Maelstrom got a couple good executions on their combo. The VP was there to clean up. We talked about how it was never used to initiate or start fights, but if they started to win a fight, they could use it to really crush them.
Yeah,
and that's exactly what happened in the bottom lane to finish up that fight. VP into a well-timed leap.
Yeah.
Even a dance went down. It wasn't enough. They just took an ace and won the game. That happens. Those types of mispositionings and mistakes, if all 5 members are a part of it and they all die, that's even if they've been ahead for a big chunk of the game, it's true.
But I gotta say, Vivid coming in, this is their first game here in the ESL Major League. They had an incredible showing versus a team of the caliber of Maelstrom.
Right.
They looked really, really good, and I'm excited to see more of them. They're a very up-and-coming team right now.
And I like the adaptations they made too. First game was a little bit rocky. I like their composition they had. It could have made it work. Fell behind fairly early. Made a good comeback towards the end of the game. And then going into game number 2, they really switched their strategy up quite a bit. They played a lot better, I felt.
Definitely.
They played a very counter style to what Maelstrom had. And it's very possible that up until level 20, that game could have gone either way. So nicely done from Vivid Gaming.
Yeah. Just ended up being a victory for Maelstrom, so congrats to them going up 2-0 here for our first series of the night, but we have another series for you.
Yeah, that's right, we do. That is going to be Barrel Boys versus Heroes Hype. Yes.
Yeah, look at that. Screen status.
All right, let me check to see what the time is. Okay.
9:10.
I know this for a fact.
Science.
Barrel Boys is not available till at least 9:30 Eastern time.
Okay.
So the minimum we're going to be looking at is a 20-minute break.
Well,
they're not scheduled to play until 10 p.m.
But
so we'll see if both teams agree. As far as I know, they're there. And I think, or was it the other way around? I'm sorry. One of the two teams is not available until 9:30. So at the very least, we're going for a 20-minute break.
Yep. And on that note, we are going to throw to the 20-minute break,
Sure.
9:30. Hopefully we're back with the game.
If
but
not,
either
we'll come back and update you guys to see what the situation is. Until then, stick around. Don't want to miss these games.